Bula Fiji, Namaste, good evening, and Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to your favorite show right here on FBC TV. This is Jejemon. I trust that you are having a great evening from whatever part of our beautiful country you are joining me from. Tonight, a special Mbula Vinaka to our friends and viewers joining us from the gold town of Tavua and surrounding areas. Thank you for your company. Now, Fiji Fashion Week is set to stage its 12th year production here in the capital. The week-long event that takes place at the end of this month profiles collections from some of our country's top fashion designers. Jejemon was part of the fabulous event last year and was thoroughly impressed with the work of some of the designers. Tonight I chat to three influencers in Fiji's fashion industry. Bloggers Paris Matanimeke, David Solomone and Temesia Tuicaumia ahead of Fashion Week 2019 to talk about the hits and misses from the 2018 collections. Take a look. Now, when it comes to Fiji's fashion industry, you can't help but notice one of my three guests tonight. Not with just the colorful outfits that they wear, but the work that they do in Fiji's fashion industry. And with me tonight, I have David Solomone, a fashion blogger and a style influencer from his brand Three Good Lanes. Paris Matanimeke, a fashion socialite and fashion enthusiast, as well as Temesia Tuicaumia. Did I say your name correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
Who's a digital influencer and blogger, as well as an executive board member for the Fijian Fashion Festival. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Now, Fiji Fashion Week is just days away, and tonight we're going to be dissecting the collections from the 2018 show. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
I think it's going to be a great way for us to set the stage for the collections this year, and I know that there's going to be a lot of fashion lovers that will be looking forward to Fiji Fashion Week 2019. Yes. So I thought, what better way to bring in three of Fiji's most famous bloggers, stylistas, fashionistas, and get the ball rolling for Fashion Week.
Exciting.
All right, so David, we'll start with you. Last year's Fiji Fashion Week, who was two of your standout collections on the catwalk?
Well, there were many, but I think my top two would be Lysiasa, Elrodi, and Jeje Whiteside. Lysiasa because I thought that there's consistency on the catwalk. His designs exuded professionalism, and it showcased that he knew what he was doing as a designer. And Jeje Whiteside, her prints were just amazing, and she always hits the mark for me.
Right. Now, what I loved about Lysiasa was the fact that his collection was really innovative.
That's true.
And he got picked up by an Australian, an Australian fashion guru.
Yes.
Who's actually
Nicholas
working,
Huxley.
Yeah, working with Lysiasa, and hopefully he gets to be Fiji's next international superstar in the fashion industry.
Yeah.
Jadine, what I loved about Jadine's collection was the fact that it had so many beautiful and bold prints.
Yes.
And I don't know if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I did see a bit of Asian influence.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
especially the
so-
satin
yes.
and
Yes.
all that.
Yeah, which is great because we hardly see this on the catwalks in Fiji.
Right.
Yeah. How about you, Dan? Which two collections stood out for you?
I think my two favorites were Rasa by Rafa Nganilauli, who is also Nicole's son.
And he's got a great mentor in that his mother is an established fashion
Yes,
designer, and
yes,
Dikwela Nganila.
Definitely.
And my second is Cass. I think her line is Alea.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of Cass, I haven't heard of this designer, or I haven't seen this brand, so it was a surprise for me at Fiji Fashion. But I was actually impressed, like you, with this collection, and I would actually put it in one of my favorite collections from Fashion Week.
But
Yeah.
because Cass has been designing for
Yeah.
years, she's been a student designer with
She
Fashion
did a
Week.
design,
Right.
So they
The
kind
longest
of
time.
molded
Okay.
everything.
Right.
she
And you
was-
guys would know because you've always been front row at Fiji Fashion Week.
Since
Yeah.
2013.
2013.
Right. Now, Temesia, which
Yes.
two designers stood out for you?
The two main designers I thought that stood out from the whole Fashion Week was definitely Robert Verbasanga. I'm not saying that because I'm biased, because I'm wearing his piece right now. But if you see this quality in the clothes he makes, and there's this trendless design that he has. It doesn't matter what season it is, you're able to wear his garments. And I've wore this everywhere. I've wore this in the winter, in the summer, it works well, and that's what I saw with his collection last year. The second one I felt in love with was definitely Happy Hapil Herda, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
That collection I think was amazing.
Now, Hapfield, I mean, he's a veteran
Right.
designer.
Yes.
He's like fashion royalty.
He's like
so,
right there for us.
So
yeah.
every time we go into a fashion event, we always want to see what
Yes.
Hapfield is
Yeah, there
gonna
was
be
just such a
putting out.
consistency from, you know, the beginning piece to the ending,
Yeah.
and there was this whole, from the big to the major,
Right.
you know, the fashion stopper for the end. Yes.
And what I loved about his collection was how he just consistently used one tone. I think it was like
Right.
light brown.
Yes.
And it
Light
almost
brown.
it
Like
almost
nude
had like a
colors.
bridal feel
It
Yeah.
did, it
throughout
did,
the entire
definitely.
collection.
Yes.
So I can see this doing really well in, you know,
And that's been the theme.
yeah.
He's stuck to that theme since 2014 GPA show,
And he's
it's
known
been
for that, right?
consistent since
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
everyone looks forward to what.
He
What
has,
Hapfield
yes.
does, yeah. And an interesting fact about Robert is he also studied design in Australia.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So I
Yeah.
guess it was great to see that all that experience coming through on the catwalk last year.
Yes,
But
it's amazing.
he's always put out great collections, and he's very creative and
Right.
innovative in what he does. So
Yes, he's a
kudos
great
to Robert
person.
Veribasanga.
Yeah.
Good choices. Now comes the dislikes. I've been looking forward to this dislikes to see what collections did not tick your boxes. David, what two designers did not do it for
Okay,
you?
so when I wrote my blog last year, I had mentioned these two designers.
Really?
Only because I've seen better work from them.
Right.
Okay.
So when they showcased the collection last year, I was a bit disappointed because I knew that they could have done better. So my two was Michael Mosio and Anna Rambuka. So I think Michael and Anna lacked consistency as
Right.
always, and Anna and Michael lacked consistency, and I think that the final look on the catwalk
Right.
wasn't styled well.
Right.
But at the end of the day, and I've come
Yes.
to terms with this, and I feel like it doesn't matter
The
what you
moment to process
design,
this.
but as long as you're cashing in at the end of the
Right.
day, that's all that
Right.
matters for
Yeah.
these designers. And I understand that part, of the fashion and of designing. So I hope to see better stuff from Michael because he's had an incredible year. It's a successful year since last year to now. And so I look forward to seeing his collection.
And
this
I
year.
do agree with you with Michael Mosio and Anna Rambuka being talented designers in Fiji.
Yes.
No doubt they continue to, impress us with some of their pieces. I wouldn't say the entire collection.
Yeah.
Last year, I was, fortunate enough to be in the camera pit. And when Michael's swimsuit range came out, I was horrified, to be honest. One was the fact that I also felt that the collection was rushed. There was like no innovation put into the collection at all. And secondly, I was disappointed with the model selection. Like, come on, if you're going to be a model at Fiji Fashion Week, if you're going to be a model at
Yes.
Style Fiji, at the
Yes.
Fijian Fashion Festival, you need to prepare yourself because
Yes.
you're putting yourself out on an international platform to be
That's right.
judged. And I felt that the male models in his collection put the collection down in terms of the fact that they weren't catwalk ready.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but that's my opinion.
I
Yes.
feel that's the model scouts'
Right.
fault
Right.
that happened.
Right. So models, if you're going to be modeling for Fiji Fashion Week, they say make sure you work out. It's important. Get a nice body because these photos are timeless. And I agree with you on Anna Rambuka's. I just felt that she didn't do that much justice to the tribal designs in her collection as well as the Fiji flag. Then who was your two
My two least favorites.
collections?
I think number one would be Eight Mountains because one thing good about Eight Mountains is she always goes for the plus size women, not only the skinny girls. So she goes. But then last year when she came out, everyone was surprised because everyone always looked forward to her designs because they always stand out. She has a unique way of doing it. But then last year's one was a miss because I think of the way it was sewn and some of it was very short with the butt cheeks showing,
Right.
and it wasn't. I'm not sure if it'll be wearable, but yeah.
Yeah.
And second would be Turanga,
Right.
Turanga Fiji by Jofas.
Right.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be seen in one of his colorful shirts and
never.
Zulus.
Thank you. Next.
Right,
I kinda
Temesia.
liked it. I'm sorry.
You did? I liked it too.
I think if you could match it with other things, there's a possibility of
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
being some way.
I agree with you on that, right. So now, who was your two dislikes?
I can't really pronounce the second one. I'm sorry, I forgot how to pronounce it. But the first one was Anna Rambuka. I remember seeing her from the beginning of Fashion Week. This woman was like she was Wonder Woman for Fashion Week. You know, she had her lines, it was beautiful. And just last year, I don't know if, there was something about it that didn't bring out her identity, I
Right.
felt.
Yeah.
Right.
It was more patriotic. It was all about Fiji. I mean, I love Fiji. We're from
Yeah.
Fiji. But I think we would have really appreciated if she had come out a bit more.
Right.
Maybe going deeper into her garment with the designs. But, you know, that's on her. But yes, that
And I
was
think
my
the
lack in
styling
it.
as
Yes.
well also
Yeah.
lacked in her
Yes.
collection.
Yes.
If she had put in a bit more of an effort into her styling, I'm
Right.
sure it would have distracted from what the collection originally looked like.
Right.
Because she had
Yes.
the flag.
Yeah.
I think the last
There was
piece
flags,
was
yes.
the flag that
Yeah.
was draping at the back of
And
the
it became an
Right.
internet sensation overnight. Like I
Wow.
remember being at Fiji Fashion Week and it was already trending on Chat Fiji.
Yes.
Yeah,
But good to, you know, as they say in fashion, any publicity is good publicity.
absolutely.
And
Hallelujah.
who was your second designer?
I believe it was the Professor.
Professor Chen Bin.
Yes. I saw a lot of art. There was creativity.
Right.
I'd
right.
love to see that at the Met Gala for Fashion Week. You know, I was hoping to. I'm a strong men's advocate. I know it was a women's collection, but I just felt like it was very drapey on the models. There was a lot. It was very artistic, but I felt like the models were lost in it.
Right.
And then I felt like they didn't know how to put on the character of someone who would be from Asia, who would have
Right.
to walk it. And you know, there's certain confidence when you're wearing an art piece like that. You have to own it. You need to walk down that runway and be like, I'm from China, baby. You know, you gotta sell that art
Right.
piece. Yeah, maybe an extra belt to pull it in. I felt like it was so loose on some pieces.
Yeah.
I understand it's from China. It's traveling.
Yeah.
Fiji, we're still developing in this area, so we don't really have expertise who are right there at the fashion shows. But we're growing, I guess.
Yeah, of
but
course.
yeah, I loved it, but I felt like they could go
That's
further.
great feedbacks. Actually, just to add on to your Professor Chen Bin, what stood out for me in his collection, despite that it was one of your dislikes,
Right.
was the Asian-inspired collars. That's the only thing that stood out for me in that
Yes.
collection. Other
He
than
also
that,
come up with there was one of the last pieces with the puffy
Yes.
Was that? I think that was one of my favorite.
yeah. And as in individual pieces, they look great in editorial shoots.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely.
But other than that, I don't see them doing so well commercially, being sold
Wearable.
in Fiji.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great. So well, Fiji Fashion Week 2019. I'm guessing you're going to be there front row this year.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
We're excited.
So thank you so much for your honest feedbacks
Thank
and
you for having
opinions.
us.
I'm sure you're going to be coming back on the show post Fiji Fashion Week and Fiji Fashion Festival 2019, and we look forward to receiving more of your feedbacks and opinions of our country's top designers.
Great.
Fashion influencers and bloggers Dan Paris Matanimeke, David Solomone and Temesia Tuicaumia on their hits and misses from Fiji Fashion Week 2018. Now this year's event takes place at the end of this month, and Jejemon will be bringing you highlights soon from one of the largest fashion events in the country. Visit their Facebook page for more information about the show and a list of designers that will be showing at this year's event. Right, time for a short break. Next, we check out some of the fashion from the 2019 Billboard Awards, plus Diva Mariah Carey takes us on a tour into her closet. Keep it locked on Jejemon. See you soon.